Shalom, I give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. I give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere brothers pushing this word across the four corners of the earth. This is an article from nationalnews.com, and the title says, U.S. chicken farms are so dirty, meat has to be washed with chlorine before being sold for human consumption. Now that the United Kingdom has Brexited from the European Union, Brits are no longer protected by strict EU food laws that prevent the import of dangerous foods like chicken meat from the US, which is reportedly now so filthy that it has to be doused with bleach before being considered safe for consumption. Chlorine water is routinely sprayed all over US chicken meat, believe it or not, as a way to destroy pathogens and other harmful compounds that are rampant in America's disgusting factory farms. Most of Europe has much higher standards than the US when it comes to rearing animals for meat production, hence why American meat typically isn't welcome there. But now that the UK is independent from the EU governance, it's apparently open game for American imports, including potentially disease-ridden chicken meat that, in addition to possibly containing harmful bacteria, is loaded with bleached chemicals that are harmful to human health. Not surprisingly, there has been tremendous pushback by European activists who don't want chlorine-washed U.S. chicken consumed in their countries, reports nationalhealth365.com. However, awareness about the horrors of factory farming is spreading across the U.S. as well. U.S. chickens are an abomination of nature. While chickens were created to roam the open pastures, foraging for worms, bugs, and other tasty treats, the way they are typically raised in America eliminates all of these necessities. Most factory farms that house chickens in the U.S. are grossly overpopulated, with chickens crammed into cages and never allowed to see natural sunlight. Such horrific living conditions cause these chickens to become stressed, diseased, and ripe for contamination. NationalHealth365.com's Dina Smith calls the end product an abomination of nature, and she's exactly right. And who's in control of marketing these chickens like this across the world? You so-called Caucasians, who are the biblical Edomites. And that's why you are known as abomination of nature. A filthy, wicked act. That's the definition of abomination. You are filthy and abominable to everything that you touch. Every second that this so-called white man breathes is an abomination, because he's about to do something very wicked and against the laws and ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's why he's known as the cancer of the earth. Just like a cancer, if it's in one part of the body, for instance, the lung, it might spread into the stomach or the breast or the brain or any other parts of your body. That's how Esau's wickedness is. As it says in 2nd Esdras, the 15th or the 16th chapter, how his wickedness has exceedingly polluted this whole earth. Everything this so-called white man touches, his vibration is going to be negative. It's going to be polluted. It's going to be unclean. It's going to be an abomination of nature. And this is Ezekiel, the 24th chapter and the 6th verse. Wherefore thus said the Lord power, woe to the bloody city. That bloody city is referencing America, aka Babylon the Great. It's bloody because look at the bloodshed it did on the Most High's chosen people, while you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Look how you took the land away from the so-called Native Americans, from the so-called Seminole Indians, from the so-called Mexicans. Those are part of the 12 tribes of Israel. So you have blood on your hands, you so-called Caucasians. And you also enslaved the so-called Negroes here as well. So it says, woe to the bloody city, to the pot whose scum is therein, and whose scum is not gone out of it. Bring it out piece by piece, let no lot fall upon it. You look at the word scum, it goes into filth. You know, it's polluted. This whole place is polluted on a morally level, on a spiritual level, and on a physical level. You can do anything you want in this country. You can marry an animal. You can marry an object. You can marry another person of the same sex. You can do all type of wickedness and filthiness here in this place. And that's why it's known as a scum. That's why Yahweh Shah has to come down here and clean this place up. This is Ezekiel, the 4th chapter and the 13th verse. Just letting you know we are living these biblical prophecies. Everything that this Bible foretells, we can see it nowadays. It's clear as daylight through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah. Ezekiel 4 and 13. And the Lord said, even thus should the children of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans, eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them. So no matter where Yahweh Shah scattered us, pursuant to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and 64th verse, we're going to eat our food defiled amongst the Gentiles. And you do have the best out the worst, because in these other countries, they do have some type of integrity to not eat GMO foods. But America, just to push that greed, just for Esau to meet those different quotas he want to make, he has these different chickens heavily doped up with these antibiotics, swelling them up, put them in the marketplaces for us to consume. And that's poisonous to our bodies right there. That's why you have people with cancer nowadays, because the greed of Esau trying to just make his money so much and so much faster, it's killing the population. So the Hebrew word for defile is tamah. Tamah. And for the synonyms, it says defiled, infamous, polluted. And it says unclean, impure, ethically and religiously, ritually of places. So that's why Yahweh Shah stated that our food is going to be defiled amongst the Gentiles, no matter where we are scattered to. That's part of the biblical curses. And you can read articles that a lot of these major food corporations, they have human DNA and rat meat in their foods. Everything this so-called white man touches, that vibration that he has is wickedness, is pollution, is death at the end of the day. Okay, back to the article. It says, they are overweight, oversized, and live crammed together in close quarters in large warehouses, writes Smith about the average American chicken. Since the chickens are bred for breast meat, they become overweight and top heavy. Many are unable to even stand due to the excess weight and spend most of their lives squatting or sitting. As much as 97% of American chicken is treated with chlorine before being sold. Keep in mind that this is the norm and not the exception. Even organic chickens are raised in such conditions and not allow access to open pastures. Pasture raised being something that you'll want to keep an eye out for on the label whenever purchasing chicken meat. So you call yourself trying to do right, trying to eat healthy by going to places like Whole Foods or Kroger. You go into the organic section in that store and you still getting defiled food. That chicken is still polluted and filthy. It's it's unclean because this white man's vibrations on that chicken. So wherever he touches or wherever he do, it's gonna be wicked. It's gonna be unclean. It's gonna be impure. Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And no one is making these type of laws but the so-called Caucasians. They're passing out laws for GMOs to be okay to eat. So that's a tab that this so-called white man has to pay by a higher power. And the higher power is Yahweh Shah. This is Revelation, the 11th chapter and the 18th verse. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou should give his reward unto thy servants, the prophets. And Lord willing, that reward is going to come to the hopefully elect. And Lord willing, we are a part of that. We can receive the reward. And part of the reward is seeing the downfall of this so-called white man. And to the saints and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. And this should be very well common knowledge. Who is destroying this planet Earth right now? You so-called Caucasians, you biblical Edomites, led by the chief house of Esau, Amalek, via the so-called Illuminati families. You Rockefellers, you Rothschilds, you DuPonts, you Oppenheimers, you Gettys, and so forth and so on. You are the ones that are destroying this planet Earth. Through your philosophies, through your religions, through your media, through your vaccinations, through your chemtrails, through your GMOs. You are the ones poisoning this ozone layer. You are making animals become extinct. You have ruined nations. You have stolen other nations' land and resources and made it as your own. This is the so-called white man's fault, and our people get mad at us for pointing a finger at the so-called white man. That's why Yahweh Shah is going to kill 2/3 of the nation of Israel, because you want to join hands with this so-called white man. He's not with you. It says right here, he's destroying the earth. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans that don't want to get right with Yahweh Shah, you are part of this earth as well, which means he's destroying you as well. And our people cannot just think and look upon it. Well, that's why the scripture said what it says. This is Matthew 24th chapter and the 22nd verse. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. So if this so-called white man continues on in his stead as being the so-called leader of this planet Earth, he's going to destroy this whole entire earth. There's not going to be no flesh be saved. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah via his biblical prophecies, the nation of Israel, starting with the elect and the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, are going to be saved. So that's why it's important for us to go out there on the highways and the byways, proclaim the names of Yahweh Bashem Shah, push that righteous vibration out. And the more we've been doing that in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shah, the more these days have been going by faster and faster and faster. But for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened. And we see that nowadays. That's Jake in the world are realizing that. I mean, these days are going by fast. They don't have no type of explanation why. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah, we can see why these days are going by faster. This so-called white man, he has to be put out of power. There's no explanation to that, really. We see that nowadays. We read these different articles. We see the wickedness that he's doing across the four corners of the earth. And we should already know that he has to be put out of power. And for those of our people that want to stay here, you're going to die here. Simple and plain as that. So that's the point of this article. You know, U.S. chicken farms are so dirty, meat has to be washed with chlorine before being sold for human consumption. Now that's the importance of Yahweh coming back. As it says in Jeremiah 33rd chapter and the 6th verse, he's going to bring back health and cure. He's going to make us whole again. And by that, it's by getting those new bodies, because these bodies are filthy that we are in. So that's what we expecting. That's what we hoping for. We want those new bodies. We want to be raised up in those chariots and receive salvation and see the downfall of our enemies, starting with the so-called Caucasians. They have to be put down. You know? That's why it's important you read Malachi the 4th chapter and the 2nd verse, how it says he's going to come back with healing in his wings. We have to be made complete again. And the only way we're going to do that is through salvation, through those chariots and receiving those new bodies, those incorruptible bodies. Because this so-called white man keeps going on, it's not going to be any flesh saved. Thus said Yahweh Bashem Shah. So I hope this lesson will be edified for you all. I'll leave the link in the description box. I give all honor and glory again to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, Bashem Rakapadash, double honors again to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere brothers. Shalom.